Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to day 4 of the Unreal, getting started with Unreal Engine for Lemon Sky Studios. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about landscapes and foliage in Unreal Engine. But before that, I would like to put Mehrdad in a spot by showing us how he did his spider robot. Go to Discord, you can see that he's done his. And probably have time just to one person to show, because Mehrdad did the first one. Maybe we can put him in the spot and he can show us to us. Okay, Mehrdad, okay. You want to take over the screen? I'll just stop my screen here.
Yeah, sure. Let me see if I have permission. Yeah,
you have to give us permission? You can.
Yeah? No, I have.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Let me share my editor and see if it is okay. If not, I can share my whole screen.
Sure.
Can you see my editor?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So let me go back in here. I created a base material for my base robot. There was a material in FBX, but I discarded it. I wanted to do everything from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have enough time. That was a crazy week in our project, so I didn't have enough time to I wanted to go for a neat setup with comments and proper
that's okay. No worries.
Publishing. So yeah.
Could you zoom in a bit from the top if you don't mind? Just show us how you did the base color, if you don't mind. You can press the control and then scroll in a bit more. There you go.
Okay. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So for the texture, I created a multiplier because I noticed that I come from a background of working in PBR workflow for animation. So I tried to create a base material, which is more like the standard shader for most of the popular render engines. And I noticed that most of them has a multiplier for the views. So I created a texture and I multiplied it by a constant to have an overall control over how bright I want my texture to be for my base color.
Good.
So that is the base color. For metallic, most of the times we never modify metallic textures in our PBR workflow. So I didn't add anything for this.
Okay.
But for my
metallics is just either on and off. We don't put in between, so you don't need the parameters for that. It's good.
Yeah, that's true. And before we proceed, I noticed that when I was teaching about PBR workflow and metallic texture, I noticed that this explanation is useful for people who have a hard time grasping what metallic do. But before the PBR workflow, we were working in I believe you remember when there was no energy conservative shaders in render engines. So we had all the attributes like reflection, specular color, roughness, or back then it was glossiness. And the concept of energy conservative was not true back then. So we could have add different objects on top, different parameters on top of each other and get a non-accurate result, a non-physically accurate result. So metallic came and enabled us to remove the specular color. So for the people who wanted to do exactly what this does, wherever we have white in our metallic texture, the color of our reflection is actually going to read from the base color. So we never actually modify anything about a specular color to have an accurate PBR workflow. So I didn't adjust anything on this one. But for my roughness, instead of multiplying, because I noticed that something like, first I wanted to go for a contrast. But when we add a contrast node to this, actually, it doesn't modify our white values or black values. It just push our texture more toward black or white. So at the same time, when you increase the contrast, you will have more blur and more shiny parts instead of having separate control over the total amount. So I created this setup. I went through some of the nodes to see which one is familiar for me. So I noticed that there is a remap. I have worked with remapping a lot in my workflow, so I was familiar with how to set this up. So for my roughness map, I created a remap, and for my target low and high, I created two constant. So this one actually push our blacks a bit, or in other terms, this one only affect on shiny parts, make them a bit more rough. And this one, if I preview this node.
So it's like a levels node in Photoshop, right?
Exactly, a bit more controls. So if I like push this one, it will push up my black values. So let me see. This one, slider minus slider max, and this one. Yeah, so this one push up our blacks a bit, so it reduce the shiny parts. It doesn't affect any of the original white values. So I set this as a parameter and I called it roughness black value. Okay. And this one, we can use it to cap our total roughness to something which is a bit more shiny. If we want to have a bit more shininess in our rough part, this can do that. So let's leave it back. For my normal, I didn't see your method, but I came up with this because this is exactly what we do in Maya as well. Whenever we wanted to modify something which is inverse, something like camera Z point. Camera Z is always in negative space. So to do something, to invert that, I always multiply it by -1. So I use your method, the normal, sorry, the flat and normal. And I created a conversion which multiply my input value by 1. And this one, it's a bit more readable. Instead of directly using a negative value for the user, I created this parameter and set 1 for default. Let me preview this one. So when I bump this to something like 2, I will have more intense normals. And if I want to preview it on the material itself, is there a shortcut to stop previewing?
No. Well, you can actually create your own shortcuts in the keyboard in the editor preferences.
Because I do this a lot. I isolate my network to see my map without affecting anything on the shape.
Yeah, I wish they had a keyboard shortcut, like, like in Nuke, they have the D for disable and enable the node, right?
Yes, exactly.
This one, they don't have it. So unfortunately, maybe we should tell them to make one. Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great job. Yeah. So I learned something new as well, because I learned how he did the levels thingy up here, which maybe I can use in my projects now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And for this one, I created a Fernel effect. The one that I asked in the group how to set it up. And apparently this is, I'm going to modify it with the setup, but I think yours only had like an input for exponential.
Yeah.
Okay. I will update this.
And if you want the light to glow, you can just enable the emissive color there.
Yeah, the emissive color.
Yeah.
Actually, I was doing this very late last night because this week was a bit crazy on our side.
Oh, okay. I understand. No worries. Yeah. Thanks for trying.
Yeah, and for my leg is just a instant material. Material instance from my base, and I publish these ones and overwrite. This is the one that I asked you in the Discord group. Is it fine to publish these textures and overwrite them?
Yeah, you can. That's the whole idea. Yeah.
Because I left the textures empty, but I got a compilation error.
You can't let them empty. What you can do is you can put any blank textures.
Blank one.
Yeah, and then you can drag and drop. Yeah. If you leave them empty like that, you'll get an error, because the node is requiring for at least a minimum texture.
I see. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for your support in Discord.
No worries. My pleasure.
I stopped sharing my screen.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks. Right. So let me take over the screen. Oh, all right. So that's for the -1. I think I showed Mehrdad how I do it. This is the when Mehrdad asked for the Fernel effect, right? It's basically we are trying to make the edges here a bit darker or a bit lighter. So I use this Fresnel node, right? Put in a parameter 0.5, and then if you put a power node after the Fresnel, gives you more control, right? You can either control left or right, and then you pump it into the alpha channel. Of course, these are the colors that you can see, and then I increase the roughness value to get the kind of effect. Okay, cool. All right, let's jump into today's lesson. And let's start with Unreal Engine. So today we're going to talk about landscape, yeah, guys. Cool. Delete this for now because I was playing with it earlier. All right. Welcome back, guys. So let's start the lesson for today. Okay. So last week we left at creating materials. Remember these spheres that we created last week? Yeah. So today we're going to talk about landscapes and foliage. Okay, popcorn ready, yeah? Cool. Okay, so Unreal Engine has several ways for you to do landscapes, yeah? There's not only one way, there's several ways of doing it. Of course, there are more complicated ways as well, yeah? And if I have time today, I'm going to show you a bit of PCG stuff, the procedural content generation that they just launched a couple of weeks ago. And over the weekend, I had a chance to play with it, and I'll show you what I did, what I created with it, yeah? Please remind me if we get a time for it, right? Because it's amazing. Okay, landscape. Let's create a new level. Okay, we'll start with the new level today. File, new level, and let's go for basic today. Yeah, create. And I'm gonna call. No, I need to save. I don't need to save the previous one. All right, let's quickly save that because I still have the previous class. So I'm gonna do a right click and create new folder here and call it landscapes. And I'm going to save my level in this folder here. So file, save current level as, and we go into landscapes. And let's call it my landscape. Of course, you can name it whatever you want. Yeah, I'll call it there. Okay, so what we have in our scene at the moment, same standard lights and atmospheric stuff. Yeah. And then we got a floor, which we won't be needing, but let's leave it there for now. And to start creating a landscape, it's as easy as jumping into the selection mode here, changing it to landscape mode. Or you can press Shift F2. Shift 2, sorry, not Shift F2. And then you get this little pop-up on the left-hand side. This is your landscape mode. And then you see this green, like sort of a grid. Yeah, this tells you how big your landscape is going to be. So just for this class, for learning purposes, we're going to keep it small because it starts with a standard of maybe something bigger than this. I think yours will be like 63 by 63 or something like that. Mine's 63. Okay, you can have it probably bigger than mine. I'm not really sure because mine I have played around with it, so it comes down to 63 by 63, and I've got maybe your components are a bit higher than mine. So if possible, try and follow this settings here. If you guys are following along, yeah, I've got my section size 63 by 63 quads, sections per component 2 by 2. I'm trying to keep it as dense as possible and also as small as possible. I'm talking about the density of the construction going on. Number of components is 2 by 2, and then overall resolution is 253. Yeah, this one will be done for you automatically. I apologize for the background noise. Somebody's decided to do some renovation. Okay, so follow that, and then just click on create. Okay, 63 by 63, 2 by 2, and then we have number of components 2 times 2, and then it'll give you a resolution of 253 by 253. Right, I'm going to click on create, and now we have a landscape. Okay, we have a nice landscape, not that big and not too small either. Okay, and then you will have this black cursor or black like a brush in your scene. Yeah. Just to show you how dense this mesh is, you can go to your view here, lit, change to wireframe, and you can see your density of the landscape. So it's not too dense, yeah? If you find that your landscape, when you are doing the brush, will I show you in a second, what's the tendency for AAA realistic graphics? There's a formula actually, but I have to come back to it. Let me put the answer in the Discord, yeah? I'll write the question down because that's a good question. There's actually a formula to it. There are some calculations that get the best result for AAA games, but I can't remember offhand. But I'm going to take it down, yeah? Landscape resolution. I'm going to put that into Discord, yeah, once I get the answer. All right. So this is your landscape editor. Let me go back to your lit view, right? So you will see that this black sort of a brush thingy hovering in the center. My display okay, not lagging, right? It's okay, it's smooth. All right, on the left hand side, you will see a lot of tools. Yep. If you open up this up, you can see that you have your sculpt mode, your erase mode, your smooth. This is very, very powerful system that we have in Unreal Engine as compared to Unity, because I know I've played with Unity stuff as well. This one has much more stuff. Unfortunately, we won't have time to go through all of them. We will just do some sculpt and some smoothing and some flatten and some ramp and maybe erosion and hydro, some noise, yeah? You have your brush types. These brush types are basically just your alpha brushes that you can download from the internet and use them. But you don't need to, because all this is good enough for you to create some nice landscapes. We got brush fall off, how the brush is falling off. Like if you notice in the screen that you have two circles, the middle circle and the larger circle, that shows how feathered the brush is. Yeah, it's called a fall off in Unreal Engine, right? And then we have the tool strength, what is the strength of the tool. If I click once, you can see it's just coming up just a bit, right? If I click once, just a bit. But if I change this to a higher number, it comes up quite fast, yeah? There you go, right? So I can undo Control Z. Okay, that's the strength of the tool. If you want it to be very sensitive, you bring it up. But I like to put it at about 0.3 for now, yeah? Brush size, of course, the brush size, you can adjust the brush size. Remember keyboard shortcut for Photoshop, the brush size in Photoshop, same, yeah? We use the bracket keys. You can make them smaller, you can make them bigger using the bracket keys, yeah? So instead of going to the brush size and play with it, so I can just reset that back to brush fall off is actually your feather, yeah? So it's actually 0.5. Now, if I make it to 1, it's totally fall off. And then if I make it to 0, it becomes a hard brush like that. Yeah, totally hard brush. Irritating. There you go. Becomes a very hard brush. If you are going for this kind of look, go for it. Yeah. And then don't worry about this little jagged area here, right? We can smooth it out with a smooth brush in a bit. Okay, but just go around and play and have fun with this just to create something. Maybe I can back a bit of the fall off a bit. So you can create some very interesting terrain like this, yeah, if you want to, landscape. To go around. If you made a mistake and you want to flatten the thing back down, you press the shift key. Shift key reverses the effect that you've put on the brush. Yeah, it brings back down. Now you can see I can reveal my flaw there. All right, or you can just simply press Control Z if you want to. Okay. It's a very forgiving tool. You can undo, you can erase and stuff like that. Yeah. If I were to make a terrain like this, yeah, and I just go around make some terrain, I can use the erase tool, yeah, to go back and erase. I can undo what I want. Sometimes the erase tool can be used for for landscaping as well. If I make something like this, yeah, and I want to like create a valley in between, I can use the erase tool. I can make my brush a bit smaller, and I can go in between and erase that stuff. Down the tool strength to 0.1. So initially, it's going to be awkward for you to play around with this, but after a while, you get used to it and you know exactly what you are going for. Yeah. So I can go some, and then I can go for the smooth brush. I can smooth the thing out. Yeah. So don't worry about the jaggedness. You can just smooth them out. So I've got some jagged on this ledge over here, right? So I make my brush a bit smaller. And then I can just go and smooth that area out. Okay. But you will find that doing this way is fun, but it takes a long time. Yeah. It takes a long time to create your landscape. A lot of tools. I mean, there's one other tool called a ramp tool. So if I want to create a ramp between these two hills here, right? So I select the ramp tool and I just click once and drag onto this side. You can see this icon. And then here in the landscape, you can just click on add ramp. So it creates a ramp for you, right? In between something like that. So if you want to create a pathway or something, and then you can go and select the erosion tool to erode some parts of it. So it doesn't look like perfectly done path, you know. Select the erosion tool and can just erode the edges a bit. So all you need to just play with the sliders until you get the one that you want, yeah? Stuff like that, yeah? Okay. So the more you play with it, the more easier it's going to be. Initially, it's going to be a bit awkward because you're going to, a lot of mistakes. So not a problem. You can just have, play around with it kind of stuff. There are a lot of controls, guys. Yeah. If you look at it, we got hydro. Hydro is basically erosion with water, perhaps over a period of time. When there's water coming down from that place, you can mimic like what water erosion could be, right? Using water. This is erosion using your normal erosion. So you can change the brush, maybe to like this brush here. Then we got a pattern brush. This size. Okay. There you go. You can see like a pattern going on, right? So you need to play around with the settings to have fun with this. Sometimes you get happy accidents and suddenly everything becomes so nice. Yeah. And then we have hydro and then noise. You can also use noise to adjust your landscape here. Not doing good, not doing a good job today, but you can play around with it. Yeah? Noise tool to bring things up. That you can change. Okay. But it takes time, yeah, for you to do this. It takes time and dedication, and then and that's the reason why I want you to download the height map, because I'm going to show you how to create the terrain using a height map, especially when you have a project where the customer or the client wants you to create an exact map of a certain location in the world, right? Like this case, I want you to do a Malaysia map, and I want you to do a certain part of Malaysia. I want you to get the exact height map. So if you look around inside of internet, I'm sure you can find a height map of some countries or some places that you can actually use to bring into Unreal Engine. When I get from landscape, my mouse gets pans too slow, like this. Okay, if you have this issue and you want to move around quickly, you can see this little camera icon on the top right corner of the viewport. It's showing number 3 at the moment, right? So you can actually bring it up to a higher number. Then it goes much faster, right? Or what you can do is while holding down the W key when you move forward, okay, it's slow, right? You can actually use the scroll wheel to increase the speed of your push in, right? So now if I push in, then I can slow down. If I push to the back, if I scroll to the back, it's going to slow down. See, if I push to the front, it's going to speed up. Slow. I'm scrolling to the back, and I'm scrolling to the front. See, so you can use that. You'll get used to that as well. I don't even have to disturb this number up here, right? Using my mouse wheel to do that. I'm not going to put it down to 3. Okay. Does that help you, Reza? If it gets too slow, you can actually change the camera. You can even change the modifier, the camera's speed scaler. Even if you're like in a space, like it's very huge, your planet is huge and all that, you can change this to maybe to 10 times faster. Okay, you max out this one to 8, and then you change this to 2 times faster, that becomes 16. And then you can put maybe 10, so become 10 times 16 or whatever, 1600 or something like that. Yeah. So you can change the scaler here, but I'm going to bring it down back to 3. Right? Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so this is amazing stuff. You got a lot of tools you can play with, right? You can manage your landscape. You can sculpt. You can paint, right? Of course, when you have painting, you need to have a texture. But let's do the height map thingy, because the height map gives you much accurate way of making landscape, and it does it very quickly instead of you going in and clicking all this stuff. Yeah, you can have fun with this, but when I found out about the height map, I said, okay, I'll leave these tools alone. I'll use, I mean, even with the height map, you can still you can still come and modify using these tools here. Okay, let's do the height map thing. Okay, so I'm going to do is I'm going to, the fastest way to delete this is to delete, but I can use my erase tool, not a problem. Make my mouse large and I can just flatten this thing out. Yeah. The height map requires you to create a terrain. You must already create a landscape before you can do the height map. Yeah. So if you reset back your landscape, you can either delete the landscape and then make another one, or you can just use the erase tool to flatten everything back down. Cool. Okay, this is what we do here. So all of you should have like a height map in your in downloaded, perhaps, maybe. Even if you don't, you can just watch what I do and then you can figure things out later when you see the recording of the video. Am I recording? Oh, yes, I am. Cool. I forget. Okay, this is how you do the height map. Yeah. So if you go back to the manage part of the landscape, okay, and then you can see this import button here. Import that. And then you have this height map file. Make sure you enable that. And then they're asking for you where the file is. So you can do triple dots here. Is that clear enough? I think you can see, right? Click on that, and I'm going to bring in my PNG file. There you go. This is the height map. Yeah. The PNG file is just basically a black and white image or grayscale image. You can even create this in Photoshop if you want to. If you want to have like your own, you know, fantasy kind of landscape, you can even do this on your own. But this one was easy for me to just go and download from the internet. All right, so I'm going to click on my height map and I'm just going to open that up. Okay, and it's going to be huge. Wow. It's huge. It's okay. Okay. Right, so we have put that in, right? So I'm going to click on import. And original, we can change the size here though. Yeah, import resolution is to 2040 by 2040 is fine. Import type, we have the original. Yes. There you go. It's at the bottom. I'm not sure why it went down there. So I was wondering where it is. Okay. So now if you go back to your sculpt mode, you can see that I'm going to remove the floor. Then let's go down here. So that's how it works. Yeah. It's not that big anyway. It's just nice. So everything's done for you. It doesn't mean that you cannot edit. You can just go down, edit. And if you were to make the mountains all a bit higher, okay, what you can do is you can change the scale in your details panel here. Just open this up. If you go up to the scale here, now it's 100, right? What if I make it to 150? So it's much taller now. Buildings here. I mean the mountains. Let's try 200. I'm actually scaling it width as well, so I shouldn't do that. What I should do is I could control, go back to 100. What I should do is should actually change it in the Z, isn't it? You want to be a bit higher. So I'm going to do an unlock here and then change this to maybe 120. Yeah, they go much higher slightly. Yeah. So we have these valleys and all that stuff in between. And I find that some of them are maybe not smooth enough because I've changed the scale. So you can go back to your smooth tool and then you change your brush settings a bit down. I can just smooth this part out. Smooth it out. Yeah. Anywhere you can find that's a bit more jaggedy kind of thing, you can go and smooth it out. That. Okay. I've got that thing done properly. I'll come here. I know it looks a bit fast on my screen, but moving around quite rapidly inside this landscape. Going down, just removing this jagged stuff here, just by smoothing them out. It will not matter because after this, when we put our textures and our foliage, it will look okay. Yeah. So all this just experimenting. Once you get the hang of it, you know exactly what to do. I'm going to go up here and just remove this rough edges here. And sometimes you have this weird shadow problem happening. That's just the lighting for Lumen, which is a bit laggy. So if you just move things around, move your landscape around, it'll be okay after that. Yeah. And of course, on the website, you have much more landscape you can play with. I think it should be okay now. Yeah, looks nice. Maybe I can park my view here. I can have the nice, beautiful mountains at the back. With the height map on. I think I take this one. I'll make a bookmark here. I've showed you guys how to make bookmarks, right? If I go back to my selection mode, I'm going to create my first bookmark here using this little viewport drop-down icon here. I'm going to go to bookmark, set bookmark 1. Or you can press Control 1, Control 2. My keyboard doesn't work because I've got some other apps running behind for zooming in, zooming out kind of stuff. Okay, so that's my bookmark. Maybe I can go to another view. This is not so nice. I like to have some mountain range at the back. This is nice. Okay. Park here, and then bookmark number 2. Nice. So it's much easier, right? Using a height map instead of you sculpting your own, right? So you can download all these beautiful height maps from the internet, and then you can just start using on your own. Let's move this area out a bit. Nice. Cool, right? So that's how you work with the landscape mode. Of course, I've not shown you a lot of other stuff. There's also another one called the landmass tool that they introduced in I think Unreal Engine 4, which is amazing. Oh yeah, thanks Merdat for reminding everybody. So if you miss anything, if I'm going too fast, I'm telling you 2 hours is not enough to show a lot of stuff, man. I wish I can have the whole day with you guys, but I'm sure you guys don't have a whole day to learn, right? So I'll show you the quickest way of doing things using talking about using the height map. Okay, so this is done. Our landmass is done. I mean, our beautiful landscape is done very nicely. And of course, if you have a larger landscape, when you first create a landscape, you make it more denser and all that, you can have much more intricate, what do you call that, landmass looking like what the website has. This guy, right? So he has much more intricacies because maybe the land he created, the mesh he created was very dense. So you can get something like this. Okay. I think the one that we have downloaded was this one, right? Okay. So play around with that. Okay, so let's go and talk about foliage. See, this is the problem I was talking about. Remember? Yeah, I was talking about getting this. But don't worry, this is just the light. Yeah, it's just Lumen is acting up a bit. But when you render and when you publish, it should be okay. Just when you go around, you can see the thing goes away. Okay, let's go back to what else do I need to show you here? Nothing much. Just basically play around with these tools. The paint tool is where we can come and paint stuff like your textures on it, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go straight back to our selection mode. And since you already have materials in your content browser, which is under starter content, we can actually use these materials to actually put onto your landscape. Okay. For materials for landscape, you cannot drag and drop onto the landscape. It will not work. So if I go to materials and I look for something, maybe something like a ground moss or grass, I can click and drag. It doesn't work. Does it work? It doesn't work. Yeah. So what you need to do is you can actually select the landscape in your outliner, scroll down until you see the material slot for it. There you go, right? Landscape material. Because this is not a default material, it's a landscape material. So you have to click and drag into this slot over here. And now you have your nice textures. Yeah. Also nice, we can even make much better textures if you want to. Because of the sake of time, I'm going to use this material. Something like that. Obviously, you can paint textures, you can create layers, you can create material with landscape materials, and then you can go and maybe put a rocky material on top, a snowy cap kind of thing and all that. You can do all that stuff. Okay. You can get some very realistic looking materials on this landscape. But for today, we're going to use this. I'm going to try and see whether you can use a grass one. The grass is any better. This is better because I can see some patches here like that. Yeah. And if I play a bit with the sunlight, if I open up my directional light, They're kind of high detail, but they are, like not so nice to look at. Trust me, you can do much better than this. Okay. If we were to go to, I mean, I'm not talking about Quixel mega scans today, but if you want to jump to like your Quixel mega scan, your Quixel bridge, which comes now built into Unreal Engine, here we have tons of assets that, I mean, not assets are basically your meshes for surfaces, yeah? So you could go to these surfaces, this is all for free of charge, yeah? Surfaces, you can use any of the surface onto your landscape. Okay, these are all material instances, so you can actually use the dials to dial them in. Let's do this when we come back, when we do the Megascan stuff, yeah? But you can download and try this out. The other one you can go and grab is, I think you all probably know, a website called Polyhaven. Yeah, Polyhaven was very popular for their HDRIs, which you can use in Unreal Engine to do lighting up as well. But they also have textures which you can download for free. Yeah. But this one is these are texture maps. These are not materials done for you. So basically, you have to compose your own or your own materials. Yeah. So that means you can bring a texture map in. They have, like, let's say they have this leafy grass. They have all the separate textures, so you can download and use them. Okay. This one is a 4K resolution. You can download 198 megabytes. It's a huge files as well. Okay. So this is another one I like to go to grab. Can you guys share anything else that you may have come across that you want to share with everybody? Nice place to go and grab textures. All I know is Polyhaven. I'm not sure whether there's anything else that gives for free. I know there's a lot of paid ones. We try not to pay for them. Anybody wants to share if they have their any good ones around? You can put in Discord, yeah, to share with everyone. Okay, so this is Bridge, but we'll come back to Bridge a little later. Right? But for today, we'll just stick to this. Okay, so our landscape is done. Beautiful landscape with a very minimal effort, just getting a height map from the internet and then, putting a standard material on it. Okay, and it's just for experimentation purposes. Later, we can, maybe change it to something else. I want to talk about foliage now. Okay, so we have got a nice landscape, but we don't have any plants. We don't have anything else. Okay. All right, let's talk about foliage. So foliage, just like we have in landscape mode. So you can go back, you can jump to actually to show the under selection mode, go to foliage mode. Yeah. Foliage mode is interesting because it has a lot of controls to it. Again, just like landscape mode, we have our brushes and everything. But before we do that, guys, I need you to download the foliage pack that I put in the Discord, because that will download some stuff into our project. So if I go to Discord and under learning resources here, right? This is some tropical ground plants. There's no trees, but we can use this for now. I'm going to click on this, visit site. Okay, so in your case, if you come to this website, they will ask you to open in Launcher. I'm going to click open in Launcher. Launcher is already open. And it's going to take me to the place here. See, click on add to project. Yeah, so I'm going to click on add to project. And I'm going to look for my Lemon Sky project. Okay, and then just say add to project. Very straightforward. Takes a bit of time. It depends on how big the file is. It's compatible to until 5.1, but even if you have 5.2, don't worry, just add to project, and then you can tell, doesn't matter, just use the 5.1 project, but you also will appear in 5.2. I think I've done that. Yeah, takes only a few seconds. Let me jump back here. It should be a new folder in our system here. There you go, PN Tropical Ground Plants. It should be listed in your content browser. Okay, I've got it here, and in the folder, I have a couple of other folders. I've got my blueprint, which we're not going to use. I've got my map, which I can open up a showroom for this. If I save this, I'm going to show you what I mean. If I open up my showroom, and it opens up. Normally, they have their own levels or their maps, which you can open up and check out stuff. So this is how they look like, so you can choose which one you want. So there's some nice trees here, some one with the flowers, leafy stuff. You can have a look at what sometimes they call this a zoo, sometimes they call this a map. So we can actually open this up and drag and drop into your other level if you want to. This is how they're all 3D. Yeah? They're all 3D. So you can see they all meshes itself. Okay. And let's go back to here. Go back and open up my landscapes. Okay. All right. So let's start putting some foliage. I've got my floors up there. Let's get rid of the floor. Okay, so back to my bookmark. This is the place I want to start putting some foliage here. All right. Okay, so if you go down to the folder that was made for you, the PN Tropical Ground Plants, we look for meshes. Okay, these are the meshes that it comes with the pack. Okay, and to start populating your landscape with the foliage, what you do is you go to the foliage mode. How do we import the foliage files if we downloaded them? Kichun, is it already downloaded into your browser or not yet? In the content browser or still on the internet? How do we import the foliage files if we downloaded them? It does it automatically for you, yeah? Okay, if you go to the Explorer, what it will do, it will take you to open your launcher first. Okay, once the launcher is open, and then you will see a big button here, say add to project. Okay, and then when you click on that, it will ask you which project you want to send to. There's a lot of projects here, but actually, if you remember your project name, in my case, I put Lemon Sky. Select the project and then click on add to project. Yeah, sure. I can send you the link. No worries. I can send you the link. There you go. Yeah, Jinwei is also helping with that. Yeah. It is compatible. Don't worry. Just if you get an error, it's not compatible. Just change to the closest compatible version, which is 5.1. Okay, no worries. It is compatible. You'll get an error after you open up in your launcher. Yeah. And here there will be an error. There'll be like a drop down, drop up. It normally goes up. Click on the 5.1 and add to project. Even if you're running on 5.2, it's fine. Okay. They have not updated the pack yet, so it should be okay.
Hossein, just a quick question. When I opened the showroom, it gave me a red message that 12 objects are not baked or something, but after a while, it went away. So Unreal is taking care of all those unbaked geometries automatically? Yes. Okay.
Sometimes you guys will see something happening on the bottom right corner, like a slider, like something is happening, like a progress bar. Just give it time for it to do the shading. It doesn't mean that when you import your packages, it's going to be shown exactly what it's supposed to be to you. Behind the scene, and Unreal is actually compiling the shaders. So give it some time, then everything will be
actually, I was looking for that slider, but I didn't see anything because it was not shaders. It was telling me that the geometry need to be 12 objects need to be something like that.
Oh, I haven't come across that. Interesting.
Yeah, maybe I can revert back my file and send you a screenshot in Discord.
Please do. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, thank you very much.
But now it's okay. I think Unreal took care of it automatically.
Thank to the gods of Unreal. Okay, guys. So we are in a foliage mode, and we got our foliage shown in our content browser. These are all our plants. Okay. So for us to plant our plants, okay, you have to drop it into this area here, drop foliage here, which means now if I select like maybe a few, not gonna go for all of them, maybe just these 4 objects here, select all of them, drag and drop into the foliage type here. Okay, now they'll be listed there, right? And then you can see the number at the side of it is 0. 0 means you have not put it into the viewport yet. And then they have a check mark. Check mark means you are actually selecting them. And when you brush and when you paint them, it's going to be all of them are going to go in one shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one by one, right? You see a little safe diskette there. Yeah, everybody remembers the diskette, the 3.5 diskettes. They still use that icon, yeah. That's to save the foliage. in there. I've never used that though. I'm not sure why it's there. Okay, so this is what we do. Let's go one by one. So I'm going to deselect the others just by unchecking the mark, and I'm selecting this. You can see it's highlighted because you can see the green is a bit more brighter than the other one. Then you know this is the one that's highlighted, right? Select that. Once you select any of the icons, you have more options at the bottom here. I'll get to this in a bit, but for now, let's have fun painting. Make sure you're in a paint mode, not an erase mode. Sometimes you get, how come it's not painting, but then you see up here it's in erase mode. Happens to me all the time. Paint mode, okay, and then what you do is just click. So now you're planting your plants, yeah? And the density of this, it all depends on the selection you make down here. So this is a very long panel that you can scroll all the way down, which has a lot of controls, okay? So if I want to, let's say, plant less trees, I will scroll down, make sure your foliage is selected first. You must, if you don't select this, it will not appear, the bar, I mean, the properties will not appear down here. See, nothing is appearing. But once I select, then I can get all the properties. So that's a very, always people get caught with that, yeah? How come I don't see your, like what you see, I see on your screen, because you have to select them. Okay, so it's telling you density is actually 100 1K UU means Unreal units, yeah? The density is 100. If I decrease this to maybe to 10, and if I plant, I get, that's only less. See, I only get 1 or 2 at a time. Yeah. Because it all depends on how big this dome is that you're trying to plant. So we want to plant less trees, you just bring this one down. If you want to put 1,000, I don't hope my system doesn't crash. I can just plant 1,000 at one go. See how dense that is. Yeah. So that's a lot. So please be careful on your machine. If your machine is powerful, please go for it. But if you think your machine is going to, maybe 500. So this is how dense you want your tree to be. If you want to erase the stuff that you made, go to erase and then just take them out. If you made a mistake and you just want to play around with it first, right? Just take them out, right? So I'm going to put something around here where my landscape is, but I don't want to be too dense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually select all of them and I'm going to put all of them one shot because they all look similar, right? They all kind of the same plant, but I want to change my density. Maybe let's try 200. Okay, nothing's coming up. Let's go up a bit higher, 500. They selected, they all selected. Nothing coming up. Maybe my brush size needs to be bigger. So I'm going to go and change my brush size. Same keyboard shortcut. There you go, right? Oh, there's a lot. Let's bring it down to 200. Still a lot. 100. Still a lot. 10. I think because I chose a lot of the same plants, so it's really populating. Why is it showing so?
Just a quick question. We need to set up the density for each foliage separately?
You can select for all of them on go. If they're all selected, that means you're actually selecting for all of them.
Because I noticed that still, okay, got it.
And then you can increase the radius. Let's say you want to, I mean, you want them to go apart. Seong Kim, you have a question? Because your hand is raised, so I thought maybe you have a question or something. Density. Just leave these numbers. Radius 1,000. Sometimes you got to go extreme numbers to get the effect that you want. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You can. There's a trick to it, yeah? Seong Kim, there's a trick to it. My system is crashing because I've gone 50,000 radius. Should have done that, but back. Okay, quickly bring down to normal. Lucky it didn't crash. Yes, you can. Seong Kim, what you do is, yeah? So I've chosen different foliage for my grass here, but I can deselect them. So if I were to select only one, I deselect the rest of it. I can actually erase the one that I selected. Okay, I selected this one and I want to erase only this one. So I go to erase and I can actually select that particular one. Actually, it's not working here because I think I only use one plant. Which one did I use? Erasing. Ah, there you go. Right. See, it's less dense now because I'm erasing the parts that I don't want. So you can actually select individually and you can what do you call it? Erase them out. So now it's less dense. Yeah. See, I can erase the one that I don't want. Yeah, there you go. Now that works. Okay. And if you want, you can just go back down to your browser and put more plants. Maybe I like these 4 plants down here and go to my foliage and I can drag and drop more into them. Okay. And now I have more. So I'm going to disable this one now. I'm going to enable all this now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice. If you notice these numbers, they're increasing. There's 285 for these plants. There's 1.72K of this plant. There's 276 of this plant, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So this one now I want to enable. And if I scroll down, I can now adjust for this guy. So I can just click, maybe it's more density, 200. So it's to go maybe bigger, 500. So if somebody doing something construction around. Have I selected them? All selected. Okay, maybe I need to increase my radius. Oh, they are there. I can't see them because they're very small. Are they there? Because sometimes these plants are too small, you don't see them. So you need to go very close. Always happens to me as well. Are they? They're not because it's all 0, right? So let's do some changes here. Ah, there you go. I told you, right? Always problem with the erase thingy. Sometimes there should be like a, thanks. Your names are the other way around. It's Wei Sing, right? Wei Seng. Liao is probably your surname. There you go. Thank you very much. Always, yeah? Always kena. There you go. Now I can plant these guys. By the way, if you notice the plants are all same size, okay? If you want to make a variation of their size, what you can do is you can go down to the properties down here. You can see the scale X. It's 1 and 1, right? If I make this one, maybe I want to make the smallest is 0.5 and I will make the largest is 1.5. So now you can have a variation between the plants. See, some of them are big, some of them are small now. And you can see they are swaying in the wind as well, yeah? So they have this wind component to them. And it's not really wind, it's actually the materials they use the material to actually move the stuff, yeah? And I think it's too big. I'm gonna maybe make it 0.2 and 1. There you go. Now you have something small and something big. Okay. You can change the scaling from uniform to free. Then now you have access to all scale X, Y, and Z, right? If you just want to change them in a Z proportion, which means they become taller, then you can change this here. For me, I'm just going to stick to my YZ. Okay. And then you got align to normal. What is align to normal? Align to normal means they're going to follow the curvature of the landscape. If you notice that the plants are actually following the normal of the landscape. Okay, if the landscape is sloping up, they're going to follow the slope. If you don't want to do that, you can uncheck that. Okay, if I go back to my trees, let me uncheck all this stuff and check one of my plants. If I select now, click, they are not going to follow the normal anymore. I think. There you go. It's actually not following the slant anymore. It's going upwards. See that? Okay. There you go. They're going upwards. And sometimes on a steeper slope like this, they won't plant. Like I have a steep slope here. The trees sometimes will not plant themselves because if it's beyond 45 degrees, they will not do it. This is still okay. And if you have that issue, like, see, I'm clicking now, it's not planting, right? That's because if you scroll down, you can see there's something here called the ground slope angle. You need to change it. Maybe if I make it to 90, now I can plant. See that? Okay. So, but it's weird to have plants coming out like this, right? Very weird. But maybe we can change the normal to switch off to normal, and then now we can plants going upwards, but still also look a bit weird. They're going from something like that, but maybe from far you don't see it. Okay, so those are the couple of properties you can play with. You can play with the density, the radius, the scale X. Maybe some are smaller, some are bigger, and then you can change your your normal, yeah, line to normal if you want to, and then obviously down here you can change the angle, the max angle here. Okay. I mean, if you're clicking and it doesn't want to come out, just check. The first one is check whether you're erasing or not. Always, yeah. And then second, you check your slope angle. Here like that. So if I go back to my, we have a nice dense foliage here, but we don't have trees, right? It's all plants. It's boring. So let's erase some of this. I'm going to show you how to bring in some trees. No worries. I'm going to like select this. Okay, and I'm going to go and erase them a bit. Maybe bring some trees in. Okay, foliage doesn't mean that you only do for plants here. You can also do for meshes like objects. Let's say you want to put a bunch of stones and rocks and all that. You can do that as well. Let's do that. I'm going to go to my content browser. In our starter content, you see under props, there's a stone prop here. There you go. It's SM rock. Okay, I can click and drag into here, but they must have collisions though. No collision, it will not happen. Yeah. So I've got my SM rock there, and I want to put a couple of rocks around. So select that guy. Should we unselect the rest of it? Select that guy. Okay, that's selected. Hey, hang on. You deselect, select that. Okay. So if I click now, if I have enough brush density, that is, again, erase, yeah, I can plant these rocks here. They're going to take a bit of seconds to do their compiling the shaders, but you can put rocks as well if you want to. I'm going to undo this because I don't like they're all same size. I want to put a bit of variation in the size. So let's go scroll down, select the rock, and let's change the size here, scale X. Let's do a uniform. Okay, maybe minimum is 0.2, some small rocks, and maybe some 1.5, some big rocks. There you know. Now you can see some different variation of the rock. This rocks is very simple rock. You can download more stuff if you want to from Megascan library. This is just to show a sample. And these are very light rocks. They are very simple polygons. Okay, so you can actually use meshes. Could be anything, right? It could be any of these chairs, maybe. If I want to put chairs around in my lawn, I can drag this chair here. But you get the idea, right? Put it there, and then now I deselect that. I select the chair. I can put chairs around my place here. Yeah. So somebody threw some chairs on the lawn here for some reason. I don't know why. And then after a while, you can see the shaders will pop in, compiling the shaders now. Oh, sorry, my shader has been destroyed. I was playing with material, so that's why no shaders. I have to rectify that. Okay. But you got some chairs on the ground for some reason. Okay, so it can be anything. It doesn't have to be plants. Let's go and look for some trees. So for trees, be careful, because if you go and download one of these Megascan trees, these things are huge. So if you go down to, you go to the launcher, you'll see that you have some Megascan trees, and these trees are by the gigabyte. So be careful, yeah, when you download this. So if I go up here to free, go and look for Megascans. These ones are awesome. These are all photogrammetry. They were scanned by human beings with a nice camera. Yeah. So people go around in the world. This bunch of people work from Quixel. They go around in the world and they scan trees, they scan leaves and whatnot, and they give you for free. You know. So, but this, be careful. They are very, very big files. You know, so it takes time to download. So I'm looking for some simple trees. Maybe we can find some simple trees. So let's go back to home here and teaching last night. So I came across something. TREES. Okay, look for trees. And let's click on free. I guess you can download. I think there's one for about 4 GB, which is not that big.
Hossein, just a quick question about foliage.
Mhm.
Can we use any prop for foliage, or do we need to like make it to be used as a foliage? Like, is there any preparation needed?
No, you can use any meshes. You can any meshes, no problem.
Ah,
As long as they
okay.
have collision, right? As long as they have collision.
So the collision is necessity, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You can get it done automatically when you import your mesh into Unreal Engine, and you get Unreal Engine to make the mesh for you, make the collision for you.
Okay.
You have an option when you bring from an import box, right? In the import box, you say, okay, create collision.
Yeah.
It does it automatically for you.
Thank you.
And the best thing is optimizes for you as well. So let Unreal Engine do all the hard work. It's 3 that I found yesterday. Because that one wasn't that big. I've got 2, okay, one here. All right. This Australia one is very nice, but it's huge. Let's try. I'm sure this is huge. Let's go for it. This looks nice. Okay, I'm going to go for it. See how big this is. Even this 5.0, it works on 5.0. Let's see how big this is. Okay, see, I get this error, right? No compatible projects found. So I just show all projects. And although this is dim, I just click on it and they say 5.0. It's fine. Add to project. Okay, that's how you do it. This is 0.2 gigabyte. Very small, very nice. Awesome. So it's called Dome Swarm Brush. Let me try that. Okay, should be in my browser now. There you go. And then we look for meshes. And we got Central Florida. Wow, a lot. If you want to watch, if you want to see all of them at one go, you can use this filters here. You're going to see all the meshes, right? Because all these are meshes. So I'm going to do a right click and say, show me all meshes only. So those are all the meshes. Are there any trees? There's some trees here. Cool. We've got four trees here. Right. Again, use the filter to view all the static meshes. It's easy that way. So I'm going to take my 4 trees here. And I think this is a kind of low end trees, but no problem. This is for demo purposes. And now we can actually plant trees. So I'm going to go and select, make sure this one is deselected. Select that, select that, select that, select that. Okay, I'll select it. And it's interesting. Undo. So it's too dense. I think we'll go down to maybe 20, a bit of radius. Yeah. And plant. Yeah, much better, but still too dense. Maybe I select only one now. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So go around and plant your tree. By the way, you can also plant single trees if you want. Just click on the single button here. You can just go plant one single tree if you want to. If it gets a bit overwhelming with the brush, right? So maybe you want a tree over here, just plant one tree there. You see, it's actually going according to the normal. So I'm going to change that. Align to normal, switch it off. Okay. It will grow straight. 1 or 2 trees there. Then you can change the tree to something else, maybe change to a different variation, enable that, disable that. Okay. And this one also needs to be disabled, the align normal. Disable. Align normal. Selected. Okay, disable that. All right, cool. That's very nice. Okay, landscape coming along very nice. A couple of trees around. And of course, you can change the variation size as well. So scale, maybe some trees are short, some trees are kind of tall. Okay, so if I plant once, this one is short. If I plant second time, this is tall, short, medium. There you go. It comes variation, right? Small. Interesting. And believe me, the Megascans trees, although they are very high and I mean they are large in size when you download, you can actually change the materials to show different seasons. Yeah, you can change the materials. The leaf can become autumn, winter, and all that stuff, which is kind of amazing. They've built all that into the material, the material instance of it. Like this one, you see that if I disable the static mesh, if you go under the materials, yeah, this all has materials. So if you open up the material, you can see how they are constructed, which is something that we can use to learn as well. See, they have, if you go down now, you can already see, okay, this is the color, you know, this is some, this is the wind situation where I think they use a panel tool here to move things around. Or maybe they have their own kind of a formula or something. This leaf movement is a parameter there. You can change it to make it faster. So now you guys already know how this works. See, you can already figure things out, right? We got a lot of adds, we got a lot of multiplies. It's basically using the same over and over again, the same kind of nodes, yeah? Just repeating. This is actually, it's actually probably a UV map that actually does that movement there. That's the color, and then the roughness. You can change your roughness. You can actually start from here and see what they do. Okay, so the world position. What does it do? We go down here and look at it. You know, so this is how I learn. I break things up and look at what they are doing and what kind of nodes they're using. And what is this node here for? You know, what is this node here for? So if you look at blue nodes, they are basically expressions, which means if I double click on them, it opens up into another, it should open up into another window. These are expressions, by the way. Why is it not opening up? If you look at blue stuff here, that means it's actually a subroutine of another pair of or a bunch of nodes here. Does it open up? Do a right click. Click. Where is it going? Oh, it's coming to here. The texture. It should open up and show me more stuff. Maybe that's not the one. So these are called the expressions. Okay, never mind. We'll jump out back to. You can try that. You open up and then have a look at how this thing was constructed, and you can break it up and then learn from it as well. And all in all, this only has 276 instructions, which is kind of small. Yeah, very optimized, which is cool. You can see that thing is. And if you notice in the details panel, they use masked. Yeah, the blend mode is masked. Mask means if you have an alpha channel, it automatically cut out for you. And we are applying to the surface is masked and it's two-sided foliage. Let me really tell you that we already have all these like shading models. Two-sided foliage means you can see the foliage from front and back as well. It's kind of cool. So they already have these presets done for you to choose with whatever you want. If you are making hair, you have hair, shading model, cloth, eye, kind of thing and all that, right? But normally you stick to unlit, default lit, or sub and two-sided. There's also another switch down here to make sure that things are two-sided as well. There you go. Okay. Let's say if you're creating a material and you want it to be looked from both front and back, you enable two-sided here. Otherwise, it'll be just one-sided because trying to conserve your computing power. Okay. Looks nice, guys. Let's maybe do a bit of nice.
Just a quick question. If you update the asset, is it going to be updated in the foliage system as well?
Yes, it is. It's going to be updated. They're all interconnected. One thing about Unreal Engine, that's the reason why you are not allowed to go to the Explorer and move things around there because everything is interconnected, right? So when you delete stuff, you move stuff, if you open up your content here, if you, let's say this class material demo, I've done some deletion or something like that. Once in a while, it's a good idea to right click on the folder and say, fix up redirectors. Because sometimes Unreal Engine connects everything to each other. It knows where it went to and all that kind of stuff. But if you delete stuff, once in a while, it's good to come and say, fix up the redirectors, and then you will do it quickly for you. So now it remembers. Because if I do a right click here and I say, it's actually a tree. You can see where this Chrome has been used by and who's using it. It's actually under audit. Is it asset audit? No. Asset action.
And is there a way to like delete unused shaders and nodes?
Yes, you can. Oh, you mean delete all of them at one go? Yes. There's actually a. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was the same thing that I was asking. I have some shaders that I've created, but I'm not using them in my project. That's like a test shaders, and I want to delete them all.
Okay, this one here called audit assets. You click and open up. This one will give you like a overall picture of the whole project and what you have in them, right? This is actually a very good way to come and look at all your textures. And if you want to convert them, let's say, for instance, from 2K, 8K to 2K, you can do this as well. So yeah, this is the one. This is called the asset audit. Maybe not this one. Maybe not. There's another one. I'll find it. Sometimes my head goes, confused for a while. But I'm trying to look for that connection. My God, I know it. Asset action. No, show reference viewer. There you go. This one. Reference viewer. So it tells you which this Chrome is made up of what, it's connected to these three material instances. That's the material class that it's connected to. So if you delete this, all this will be affected. That's the problem. Yeah. It's been used in material class level, right? It tells you which one is connected to. And I think if we increase this number here to bigger numbers, you actually see the whole tree. Sometimes it's like, there you go, right? Now you can see more. So where is this connected to? Disconnected to this one, okay? So if you break this, all these things will break. That's the reason why you go into the landscape. If you let's say click on it, and you can actually do it on the folder itself. Right click and say fix up redirectors, and then it will just make sure everything is done properly. Okay. So again, that's right click and go to reference viewer, Alt Shift R, and you get that. But don't worry too much about this. This is nothing that you have to do all the time. But if you find that before you delete, remember one time I wanted to delete and I got this bigger dialog box popping up. This is the reason why. Okay, they want you to fix this first before you can delete the whole thing because they are interconnected. Okay, go back to landscape. Time check. Still got plenty of time. Okay, so if I were to play with the lights now, Control L, then move my light around. Keep it nice. We'll talk about lighting the next session, yeah? So I did a Control L. You all know about the Control L, right? Did I not tell you about the Control L? Control L means you're actually moving your directional light using a keyboard shortcut, Control L, and then you can click once in the scene. Again, Control L, you can actually move your directional light. Yeah, gives you the way of rotating it without you. There's one. The sun is right in front of me. There's the sun in front of me. See that? Right in there. And if you want to unselect your stuff, you can press the Escape key. Yeah. There's much foliage here. That's okay. Right. If you find that your foliage is too dense and then you don't want to go around and delete stuff one by one, there's actually a slider in the foliage unit, in the foliage panel. You can actually lessen the, by using a slider. So I select on this guy here, maybe select all of them. You scroll down, further down, there's something called here. I found that recently. There's actually a slider to lessen the stuff in the foliage. Looking for it. Something about reducing. Was it landscape? Let me see. Yeah, that's the one. Density scaling. Where is that, Joseph? I'm looking for it. Is it the bottom down here? One of these. Is it foliage bottom down? Density scaling. Oh my God. I can just type in here, I guess. Do they have a search here? Should have no search. I think I'm just in front of my face, but I can't see it. Density scaling. Density scaling. Scalability. Ah, there you go. Density scaling, yeah, which means I can enable that. Now I should be able to find a slider to help me with that, right? Is it a slider here? Oh, where's the slider? It's supposed to be a slider. I can slide it out and then less things will happen on the screen. Affected engineer's cavity, blah, 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 and enable the detail mesh. Enable for small meshes without collision, disable large meshes, blah, blah, blah. Oh. It was supposed to be a slider here. Fine. Try and find that, guys. Because it is really helpful if you have a very dense foliage and you want to reduce certain stuff, you can use that. Yeah. Surprised there's no slider. Okay, if you find that, let me know. Yeah. But that's a way of doing that. Cool. All right. So that's how the foliage system works. Okay. Remember, you can select and unselect stuff like that. Oh, here, there's a search button here. Scalability. For the foliage. If you have thousands of the foliage, maybe you can search for them. That's what it's supposed to be for. Okay. So in a very basic manner, that's how foliage works. Obviously, you can go and play with the lasso. The lasso tool will probably select a few things like that, and you can just delete them out. You know, just a lasso tool. Sometimes foliage don't work as how you want it, because some of my project it just goes haywire. I can't select things. I can't delete things. So be careful about foliage. Yeah. When you have like a million trees that you plant, it will go wonky a bit, haywire. So now it's okay because there's not much foliage and trees in our particular level here. You can move things around, you can paint. So it's very straightforward and simple. I want to show you a bit of PCG stuff. We still got a lot of time, by the way. Let me see what else can we do. Before I jump into PCG, because PCG is going to be just a simple demo. Oh, let's do PCG anyway. If we have more time, then we can come back into here. Yeah. Let me delete some of these rocks. I don't want this chairs here. So lasso them and throw them away. I like this because you can only select certain items and throw them away. The rest of it are not affected. Okay, there's another. Yeah.
Just a quick question. Can you show us, is it possible to switch painted foliage with another one?
Meaning which?
We want to, for example, replace all the instances of one of the trees with another one. Is it possible?
Try to think. If you see smoke coming out from my head, then I'm thinking too much. Swap things around. I thought I saw something here called swap. See it? No. See my eyes. Good question. I'll find out. Interesting. I also want to know. Let me grab my notebook. Swapping foliage out, yeah?
Yeah.
I need to ask the experts. All these questions, I'm actually learning stuff, you know. Swapping foliage. Okay, is it possible? Okay,
I'm
cool.
asking this because I wanted to know if you wanted to like work on a heavy scene, can we start with a very low quality version of the
Yeah.
asset?
Okay, cool. Okay,
Then
cool. And then you want to swap it to a higher dense,
yes.
a higher end model. Yeah. If you got mesh and change, if you go to mesh and change it. Okay, he said go to mesh and change it. In foliage, maybe can, Oh, here. Is it here? Yeah.
So we can repath it to a
Yeah,
different asset.
yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
David,
you.
thanks. David is a nice name, David Sunday Bawala. You were born on a Sunday, David? Just kidding. Maybe you are.
Oh, you should meet him. He's also nice in person.
Really? The name's already nice and it's now even nice in person. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's the idea. That Sunday helped us. Sorry, David helped us. Yeah. So you can change some there. Excellent. So I don't have to do any research. Okay, let's talk about PCG stuff. But PCG side, guys, we can only do it in 5.2. So if you have 5.2, you can follow me what I do. Yeah. But let me show you what I did over the weekend. Well, fully just easy stuff. You can just mess around with it. There's another thing called a plugin called Landmass, which I want you to go and also experiment with. This is amazing stuff. You need to enable the plugin though. It's called Landmass. Okay, I don't have time to show this. Maybe one of these days when we are together again, I'm gonna show you about what it's actually a plugin where you enable it. Okay, and then you have to restart the whole the whole engine. Excuse me. Let me show you what it's all about. I can probably quickly show you some screenshots of what Landmass you can do with. It's an amazing tool. Landmass. So you can build something like this. Yep. Okay, so you can build something like that just using points, just using path points, yeah? Which is kind of cool because this is like procedural building of landmass, okay? But of course, PCG supersedes this one now. You have nice, you can use spline to make all this curvature and all that. And then when he shows, he put all the water system. There's another thing I want to talk to you about. There's actually a water system in Unreal Engine, rivers and lakes and sea, yeah? Oh man, there's a lot of stuff to show you guys. Okay, go through this and look at it, how it's done. It's actually a plugin that you have to enable. And then you have to just use the spline points to move things around and you get something like that. In fact, when he first started to show his stuff, this is how you can, something you can create. I think he mixed this with the Megascan stuff as well. Okay, that's the plugin that he was talking about. This one is actually 4 point something, but don't worry, it works in 5 as well. So maybe something we can work with in the next few sessions, yeah? Okay, water, right? Water bodies, although we are not going to cover water bodies today, but you can actually have water system in your landmass. Let me see if I can put an ocean here now. Zoom out a bit. And I'm going to go to this plus button, and you won't see it here. It's a bit hidden. When you click on this green sign, you just have to type in, right? I just click on the box with the green plus. I just type in water, and it becomes like a search function. That means I don't have any plugins. Unreal Engine comes with thousands of plugins, right, guys? But you have to enable them if you want to use them. Otherwise, the system will become too heavy. If I do water, there you go. I've got my water experimental. Yes, I want my water extras. Yes. So it will ask me to restart, but no worry, I'll restart it quickly. Like to apply. Yes, I'm going to save it. And I'm going to save all that. Yes, thank you. And it will restart the system. Compiling shaders. It will get stuck at 45%. That's the normal thing. And then it will get stuck at 95% again. While talking about this, let the thing run. I want to talk about PCG. So if you go to the games launcher, excuse me, go to the samples area. They recently released this Electric Dreams environment. Oh, already done. Okay, now we'll go for this. We'll come back to that in a bit. Okay, so I'll open up my level, which I created earlier. What's under landscapes? Landscape. Okay. Okay, water. So if I now click the plus sign and I type water, it should be appearing there already. There you go. I've got island, lakes, ocean, river, blah, blah, blah. Let's do ocean. Okay, and then you will have okay, shading coming in. There you go. Right. I've got my ocean. There you go. Right. And of course, it's not going to be as level as my landscape. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to bring my landscape up, which is which. Is that my landscape down there? Where's my landscape? And the cool thing about the water system is actually it has the effect of being underwater. If you play with it enough, if you go underwater, everything becomes distorted. That's kind of cool. Then you can create islands and whatnot. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Just begin a lake, perhaps. We can put a lake somewhere in between here. Oops, sorry about that. I want to put a lake somewhere where the lower part of this is. It's not going to look good because this is a hole there. Let's try water again. Lake. Yeah, I've got a lake here. Okay, give it a second. There you go. Right. The lake system here works like a material. So if you select the lake system in your detail outliner, you can actually come and adjust the wave system, and it goes what we call there's a name for it. It's called the Gerstner wave. It's actually a formula to do this. If you Google Gerstner, then you know which one to use. Okay, water waves. You can change the water waves. The wave is too big at the moment, so we can play with all this stuff. I'm not going to go into this into too much, but if you go and you can look at the water, they're kind of nice, and they're improving it all the time. Yeah, and you can see the underwater kind of look as well. It has the underwater look, and then you can put in your materials with your caustics as well, so it looks very nice. Okay. You can play with all this stuff as well, but you have to enable the plugin. And the cool thing about this is if you select any of these points here, you can actually move the lake and it will just follow. Yeah, this is how PCG works as well. You just move these spline points and you can actually adjust all these spline points. There you go. And it has this nice edge to it where you can just come and put your foliage in and then you can have a nice ocean like that. Okay. Of course, there are plugins that makes nicer oceans and stuff, which I've bought a few. There's one guy who did a very amazing looking ocean plugin material, which I bought. It's not that expensive. When I was working on a project, I had to use that. Otherwise, my water will look. I mean, I didn't have time to really work on the water. Just simple as that. So if I type in water, there's one guy who did this, but he did it amazing. And then recently he updated this as well. Which one is it? Water planes. No, that's free. Water materials. I got it. I think it's the one. Can't remember now. There's a guy called Karim Abu Shusha. If you Google him, he's giving everybody a free version of underwater situation, which is amazing. Karim Abu Shusha. He works for one of the AAA companies. I can't remember. Karim. He was giving it for free, but because Shusha. It's on LinkedIn. Karim Shusha. Can't remember. Okay, there you go. Karim Shusha. He's giving away. There you go. This guy, ArtStation. So he created an underwater. Who does he work with? Ubisoft. Okay. He created an underwater plugin, which is amazing, and I bought it. I only put $1 there, so I bought it because I was using it for underwater scene. So I think he's not allowed to give it for free, but you can just this is the one. It's a free tool, but because you put it on Gumroad, you have to pay for it at least $1. So it's very nice. It's amazing stuff he did. It's a plugin, and you can just drag and drop into your scene, and this looks very nice. Gives you a very good underwater kind of look. Oops, sorry about the sound. But this is just a plugin, and then you can see all these things. The whatever you call these things, right? Nice. So go and grab this while it's still cheap. PCG. Let's go PCG. So this is ocean stuff that you can play with as well. Yeah, have fun with that. Don't worry about that too much. This one you can actually remove it out from the scene kind of thing and all that. This is another topic by itself. Okay, let's do PCG. I'm going to close my are the waves height maps or purely mesh? They are. They're not meshes. Oh, they are meshes. Yeah, they are meshes. If you look at the, let's say go to wireframe, you can see they're meshes. There you go. Yeah, they're mesh. Okay, I'm going to close this. I'm going to jump into 5.2. If you have 5.2, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to open up my project that I worked on over the weekend. The library, scroll up. PCG. There you go, PCG Electric Dreams. This is the sample that I downloaded and it only works with 5.2.
I think while it is opening, I have a question. I noticed that when you click on the eye icon for hiding your default ground, the next time you opened, although it was saved, but it pops up. So this show and hide options are not saved.
No, it's not. If you want to permanently hide them, you have to go into details panel, look for something called visibility.
Okay, so it's different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, if you check the visibility, that means you don't even render them.
Okay.
So if you want to render anything,
the outliner is just for your current session, right?
Exactly. They will come back after a while. They will come back. Yeah. By the way, I found out a way that you can actually zoom in, zoom out from here using Control key with the scroll. I just only recently found that. I always like to go here and still go to thumbnail size, and waste of time. I just found out you can actually use Control key to zoom in and zoom out. Nobody told me. Okay, learn something new every day. Okay, I'm going to open up my content. I created a nice scene here.
Sorry, regarding my previous question, is there a way to isolate your selection in your viewport?
You mean in the outliner?
Yeah, just show one particular item.
The one you have selected?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Select the, I mean, if you go up to this little gear icon on the top right corner of the outliner, and you can see only selected.
Okay.
And only that thing will be selected. The rest of it will be just hidden.
Cool.
Okay, hang on, guys. Where is it? My okay, I want to view all my levels. We have done in different project. Quick. What is it? It's all assembly stuff. Yeah, I got my cinematic here. Or I can right click and say open map. Okay, this is a cool thing that I learned recently. If you have a cinematic that you created with sequencer, you can actually find out which level that you have to open up to run the sequencer. Which is, if you do a right click, you can see open map. There you go. That's my sequencer. That's my level that I have to open up to run the sequencer. Otherwise, when you open up the sequencer, you don't know which level you are, and then you get a lot of errors. Okay, so I have to open up this first. So opening up my level. So that's actually a quick way to find out things. I mean, the levels that you actually are in the sequencer. Need to upgrade PC to open this demo. Yeah, you have to. So this is the so I've set the camera to different. So what I used the Minerva free pack from Kitbash. I created some PCG, right? This jungle here was all created by using PCG, and I put my Minerva models in there just to have fun with it, trying to play around with PCG stuff. And guess what? This is all created, excuse me, automatically for me. I didn't put any placement at all. Okay, I'll show you how to do this very quickly. It's just a drag and drop, and that's it. Okay, all this stuff. If you go down into the ground, you can see they're all nicely done. Bit dense here, wait. Okay, we come to the stones area here. My light is kind of low. Okay, you can see all the stones and all that, right? How detailed. They use mega scans for this. Okay, and this is just jungle. Stones and whatnot. Everything is done by mega scans. And I didn't do placement for this at all. It's all done automatically for me. Okay. I'll show you quickly how to do this. Blown up because my light is low. I was playing with the light, so on the game settings again. Okay, so I put this little station here in the jungle, and I did some video on it, kind of thing. My light is too low. Let me go back to lighting. Bring it up. 5. Yeah, much better. Okay, so that's what PCG is all about, and you need to have a good RTX card for this. Let me show you how to do this very quickly. Okay, I go to File. Oh, still got a lot of time. No worries. New file, new level. I'm going to use Open World simply because Open World already has the landscape done for us. Okay, Basic doesn't have a landscape. I don't want to do the landscape thingy, so I'm going to Open World, click Create. I'm not going to save that one there. So you got an Open World, right? You got all the nice hills at the back there. And all I need to do now is, because I'm in PCG, and there's one called Assembly here. I do not need to go and look for them because they've done a blueprint for me. All I need to look for is, let me find out the names that I have to bring up. Yeah, I have to just look for them. Give me a second. Okay, I have to look for something called okay, look for something called forest. Is that how you spell forest? Correct, right? There you go. Electric Dreams, PCG Forest level. No, I don't level. I want the blueprint. So I'm going to go and right click here, enable blueprint. This is the one, yeah? PCG Demo Forest BP. Click and drag. Okay, nothing's happening because if you look at the PCG demo in my details panel, I have to click on this one of this guy here called PCG Demo Forest and generate. Okay, number one, drag the BP into your scene. Make sure it has a landscape. Very important. Drag and drop. Select it in your outliner and go and select one of these blueprint stuff inside here. It's called PCG Demo Forest. And then click on generate. Done. How amazing is that? Within a few seconds, I've got a nice dense jungle. Okay. And obviously, I forgot to put the floor for it. I should have put the texture for the floor, which is also available in this demo. And this is the cool part, guys. Let me show you something here. So I'm going to probably go somewhere in the middle of the jungle here. Something clearing. I like this place here. I like this area here. Got some nice stones here. I want to clear this thing out. I want to put something here. I want to clear this out. So there's another blueprint called Ditch, D-I-T-C-H. Okay. And I just click and drag and let go. And it clears up for me. See that? Everything moves around. Should I put my textures, man? I'll tell you what, let me put my textures first. It doesn't look nice. Landscape, excuse me, landscape. And I'm going to look for the material here. And there's something here called, the landscape is called, blah, 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 blah. Let me find it. M_landscape. M_BG landscape. There you go. Right? Select that. And now it should populate. Come on. Come on. You're not selected. It's the one. What's happening? Should have done it first. Never mind. You get the idea. So I've put my stuff here. It doesn't look nice without the landscape. I still got time. Guys, if I rewind a bit, yeah, don't mind. I need that landscape thingy. So I'm going to delete my PCG stuff. World partition I need PCG stuff to go away. Okay, landscape. Okay, cool. Back in landscape. So I select my landscape. And then I got to put my there, but it's not working for some reason. I'll tell you what, file, new level. Okay, now I'm going to put my landscape first. So select the landscape, So it should work now. Where's my landscape material? No? Press a button. Just click and drag. Should work. Why aren't you working? I'll tell you what, let's create a new landscape. File, new level. Let's go for basic, create, save. It's too much time wasting. Selection, landscape. Let's stick to this one, create. And I want to change the material for this to selection mode. Select my landscape and drag and drop. I think it's already done for me. Yeah, that's the one. That is the one. Okay. And now we go back to the forest. BP. Blueprint. Drag and drop. Select that in the list here. Yep, no, that's a level. Sorry. ECG. Blueprint. Drag and drop, select that and generate. Okay, I've got my jungle with a nice landscape at the bottom. All right, let's do some clearing. Let's see if somewhere around here I want to do the clearing. I know you guys having a tough time following up my screen, going too fast. Okay, let's go and get the ditch. Drag and drop the ditch into here. It's going to clear the jungle for us. There you go. Nice, beautiful landscape here. Okay, and guess what? I can just move this thing around. Let's see if I may select one of these points here, and I can just move them a bit to the back, and it will automatically move things away from me. There you go, right? Moving things away from me. I can select all this bunch of stuff here. Control selection, not shift selection. Control selection. You can move them around. You can even delete them if you want to. If I delete this, it goes away. All right. And one more thing. I want to put like a area here which has some nice forest or something. And I'm going to go for look for one more blueprint. It's called the ground BP. Ground BP. There you go, this one. Click and drag. And suddenly all this thing come up. Yeah. If you make them big enough, these guys here, sorry, I'm moving too fast, I know. If I move them around, you can see it just creates something for me and it matches up the edges and all that, right? See, these edges not match up nicely yet, see? Okay, but there's a button here that will fill this up with nice little terrain as well. So it's called leakage. BP. Regen. I'm looking for a button called regeneration. There should be a button here, regen. There should be a button down here that says regen. Rendering. Application. Condition. Type regen. This one, I think. Or regen on this maybe. If you guys find it, let me know. Regen is cleanup. Cleanup. It's supposed to be regen. One of these things, there's a regen button, which means what it's going to do is going to actually cover this thing up for us. It won't be like that anymore. It's going to put some stones and all that nicely. But just imagine in a couple of seconds, I can do something like this. Obviously, all this can be controlled, guys. If I select this forest, I have controls here. Allows me to change the density of the trees, the scale, the cliffs. You know, I want less cliffs. I put maybe 0.5, so I'll get less cliffs now. You know, they've gone. The tree density, the color of the trees as well, all that you can change because it's all running on Megascans. And just imagine doing this with manually by yourself, it's going to take a long time. So now it's regenerating the whole thing again. And I think there's a way also putting up some trees here as well. I can't find the thing now. Maybe the next one I'll show you guys, because I can't find the regen button. It's here somewhere, but I just cannot find it now.
So can we use this to populate our landscape, and then you just use the population system and use our own foliage on top of it?
Yes. I have not tried it though, but maybe if I can go to foliage here and I can put my own stuff. I've not tried that. Let me try that. Yeah. But I think generally you can. I mean, theoretically you can. You're allowed to. I'm not sure whether I can delete any of these trees. Maybe I can if I go look and stuff into it. Because in Unreal Engine, you can do a lot of stuff. Yeah. It's just a matter of going in and playing around with stuff and finding new, when you learn something new all the time. So much things to do, so much things you can do with this. It's just limited to your imagination, right? But with this PCG stuff, it's so amazing. You look at the textures, man. Look at that. Yeah, you can even change the material of the textures, how wet they are, how dry they are. All this can be done, right? You can put more. This is a wet texture here. Of course, you can even put your ocean or the lakes here as well now. And the jungle is amazing. Look at that. So dense. It's like sitting in an actual forest, by just clicking and dragging. And you can change this foliage as well. All this foliage can be changed to whatever you want, right? Because they're all done with Megascan. And then you can change your lighting system. Do download the demo and have a look at how they do it, because there are a lot of other things that I can't show you, and then they can show you as well. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. And this is just the beginning of it, guys. And there's a lot more stuff I think Epic is working on. Yes, they all come with collision. They all come with collision and physics as well. Yeah. Yeah. If you open up the blueprint for it, of course, if you are not scared, the blueprint is like crazy stuff. If I double click and open up this blueprint, you can see that is made out of some very spaghetti thingy. Not this one. So not this one. There's one here. If you open up the PCG main one, I think there's one main one. Is like, oh, amazing. The amount of nodes inside there is like a few thousand of them, and they all make it work. So maybe one of this. You need to look at the, this is a tree, of course. But you can open up the main PCG blueprint, and then you can have a look at how they do it. And everything is given for free, and you can just, play around with it. Maybe this one. See anything? No, not this one. It's not the right one. Okay. Any questions, anybody, so far? PCG stuff, material, landscapes. It's all about experimentation, guys. Yeah, go in there, play around with it. Maybe you do things your way. I've got my way of doing things. You got your way. And the good thing is about, sharing and teaching each other as well. Because I did not know about a lot of stuff until I open up and play around with it, move things around, those kind of stuff. Not yet. City is not yet. I think it's coming, right? I'm sure some folks we are already working on the plugin. Okay, I'm sure they are working on a plugin. It's either going to be free of charge or sell. But if you download the city sample from Unreal Engine, if you dare enough to download, because it's huge, you can actually look at how they do it, and then that is actually modular. It's the same system that they use in the forest, but this city samples also has the same thing. Okay, you can actually expand and bring things down, change the city, change the meshes, kind of thing, and all that. So this is how they follow up. So now they created a city, and then now they create the forest, which is amazing. And you can put the city in the forest as well. Okay, this is so amazing that when I first opened up, and I was running an older machine, of course my machine start to complain. But if you open up with the machine, you can look at the details, texture. Oh my god, if you go very close to the texture, it's like crazy stuff. Yeah, it's very crazy stuff, and it's all real time, guys. The cars, if you click on the play button, the cars will move, the people will walk around you, the textures of the cars, the reflection, the reflectivity, all things so amazing. But this is huge. They've already upgraded to 1.5.2. This is going to be about 100 plus gigabyte. I'm not sure whether I've installed in this machine. I have it installed in another machine. Do I have a city here? No, I don't have city here. I should install it, but I'm running low on space on my hard drive. If you notice my hard drive, I cleaned up a couple of days ago. on my hard drive, I only have that amount left, 1.8 tera, no, 292. So I clean up some. So I'm going to go to IT Mall and get a 4 terabyte hard drive, or maybe another 2 terabyte. 4 terabyte is a bit expensive, 1,008. 2 terabyte, surprisingly, it's only $600. Does it make sense? Yeah, okay, double up. So that's another trip that I have to make sure that I can cover all my projects. Otherwise, I'll be running out of space. Okay. Any else question before we go, guys? Looks like I covered everything today, but always in a rush. I know 2 hours is not enough, but this is amazing. This is amazing stuff. And this is all, just select on it. You can move the points around and that's it. Okay. Crazy stuff. Can you use PCG? Yes, you can. PCG not yet, but obviously if you open up the samples for the city one, you can play around with it, yeah? Yes, always go for RTX 3080 and above. Don't go 3070. Or at least the RTX that has 10 gigabyte and above. Don't go for the 8 gigabyte. It will not work. Even the Epic people told us, you know, anything that has 10 gigabyte and above should be okay. Even the 1080 that I have on my left here, 1080p, it has 12 gigabyte, 11 gigabyte. Still works. They're a bit slow, but it has more than more than enough RAM. So I got a 3070. I'm disappointed because it doesn't run well. I'm really upset. Yesterday I reformatted my machine, my 3070. I hope it runs better now. I don't know. I'll let you guys know on Monday. Okay. Anything else, guys, you want to know? Please go around and play with it. But for the next class, I want you to download some stuff for me because it's going to be very important for you to have this downloaded, because this one takes a while to run to compile the shaders, the ArcViz interior. But this is another amazing scene that we have in an interior of the house. And I want to talk about lighting. I want to talk about static lighting. I want to talk about lumen lighting kind of thing. So this thing will help a lot. What else do I need for the next one? No, that's only this one, yeah. For the outdoor lighting for next Wednesday, we're gonna use just a simple default scenery to do that. Not a problem. And also, I found out this amazing best practices PDF. I was looking at the internet. I found this, which is amazing. It teaches you about some theory about best practice textures for textures. Yeah, it gives you the. This is not by Epic, but it's by some third-party people. It'll tell you exactly how to work with textures in Unreal Engine as well. You know what? This is more detailed stuff, filtering. I'm not sure whether I shared this with you guys, but it's there. Texture mapping. What's texture mapping? Mid mapping. I mean, this is the one that I was talking to you, Merdat. This is the one, the statistics. This is amazing tool inside of Unreal Engine. Let me look for it. It's called statistics. If I can find it, statistics over here. It's other tools. Tools. Please come out. Debug. Statistics. Profile. Audit. There you go. Statistics. Yeah. So this gives you a very huge picture of all the stuff that you have in your Unreal Engine. Sorry, and you can actually go by, let's say, textures status. And these are all the textures in your system. So if I click on current in the memory, the largest texture is at 10 kilobyte, and the texture is 4,000 by 4,000, yeah, and running on DXT1. So this is where you can come and actually change. Let's say if you don't like this one to be 8K, you can actually change it down to 4K, and you can do a bulk edit in here in this way. Yeah, you can select all the 8K textures and convert everything to 4K textures, and it will do it automatically. But please save and back up your project first. We cannot guarantee that it's gonna work. Yeah. So I did that same thing as well, because when I was working on my project the last time, I had a lot of my trainer told me, how come you have so many 8K textures? We don't need 8K textures in Unreal Engine, not in this kind of situation. Maybe if you're doing virtual production, yes, but you can convert them into it from here, right? So you can select all of them. Most of them are quite small. They're all sitting at 2. This one's kind of 4K. Yeah, we don't need all this stuff. Okay, but obviously because we're running PCG stuff, and that's the reason why I have so many of this. It tells you exactly where they are, you know, what's the current memory is taking up in my RAM. Sorry. Whether it's virtual textures or not, these are virtual textures. These are not virtual textures. So this is a good way. So you can go and look at your lighting stuff as well. your lighting at the moment. I don't have anything. Mesh lighting info. Okay, look at your all the static meshes, lighting on them. So it's a very good way to come and look at your. I'll be covering this when we talk about optimization, right? On the last day of the classes, I'll come and show you how to optimize your lights, your textures, your draw calls, and a lot of stuff. Yeah, so it gives you a very good picture of how you can optimize your project better.
This is very cool.
Yep. I have not even shown you other stuff. Like if you go to light and then go into buffer visualization, this is, you can see all your different buffers, your specularity, your world normal, your nanite, your metallic stuff. Remember, just like in the new, you can see all your AOVs. There's a little node that does that. This is exactly the same. It shows you your roughness, yeah, your roughness, your metallic, your base color, your specularity. You can see all them from it. Or you can go individual for them as well. If you go under, let's say I want to look at all my base color. So this is a base color view. Yeah. And then I want to go and look at my, perhaps I want to look at my metallic. This is metallic. So everything here is non-shiny. Is it shiny? Non-shiny. I don't know.
Is this exportable? Because I had goosebump. This is what we need in compositing a lot.
Oh, no, not this way. If you want to export this, you can, but you have to use MRQ, which I'm going to cover when we do our rendering stuff.
That's very cool.
Use MRQ gives you ability for you to send all these passes out to Nuke if you want to. So if you go to project settings, why am I going here? Plugins. Yeah, okay. So if you go in, I need you probably to enable this. Just type movie here, and I want you to enable your movie render queue. This guy here. If you enable this and also enable render passes, additional render passes, this is the one that I'm talking about. If I enable that now, it's going to ask me to reset, of course. So this gives me an allowance to export all my passes as separate EXR files. And then I can import into After Effects or Nuke and stuff like that. Not going to restart now.
Movie render queue.
Movie render queue. Just type movie up here.
Okay.
And please enable movie render queue and movie render queue additional render passes. We're going to cover this when we do MRQ. And since you're here, you might as well go to Apple and enable your Apple ProRes plugin. Here, yeah. Because when we export out, we want to the highest quality is Apple 4444 HQ or XQ or something like that, HT or something like that, yeah. So enable this as well, and then we can export out as Apple ProRes 444. I think some of the clients, they want me to export in that format. It's good for them to edit in their editor. Okay, and then we will talk about MRQ when we come back on one of the days and show you how to render the passes. Go back to lit. Okay, all right, guys. Have a good rest of the week. I will catch up with you guys on Monday. We'll be talking about lighting. We have 2 sessions of lighting because lighting is so a lot of stuff to talk about, and it's so important in creating all this stuff. Yeah, because lighting is amazing. Okay, I hope you had fun today, guys. So I'll catch up with you on Monday. Unless anybody has some question. My dream card is Visa Infinite. Oh, so you can buy stuff. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll see you on Monday. If by the way, if you have any questions, please put it in the Discord. Yeah, I'll try my best to answer them.
Sure.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Medat.